All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see if I can get this ready. Can you guys see this? Okay. Do you want me to make it bigger? Or is it the whole screen for you?
It's showing a little bit of your background of your computer for some reason. Maybe, like, can you click in the top right-hand corner where the double things are? Does that do anything?
Let's see. Oh,
I mean, it's fine.
okay. I don't
Yeah.
really know why it's not making it full screen. Oh, there it is. Oh, no. I'm not really sure about that.
Cara, try the little green circle in the top left.
The green circle, this one. Yeah.
Oh, did we already try that?
We already tried that. We're just going to have a
There
kind
you
of
go.
smaller.
Enter full screen. Look at that. Enter full
Look
screen.
at that, full screen, right there. See, it's still, my computer doesn't like full screen. We're going to go with it like this. Is that okay? Okay. I am glad to be sharing with you guys tonight. And I know that I've done a customer care call before, but this one's a little bit different. So we're going to continue on our Gold Mastermind series that we're putting on for you. Last week, Liz talked about ranking up and knowing your back office and kind of taking ownership over your business and devoting time to that. And then tonight, we're going to talk about how follow-up fuels retention. And just a reminder, these are videos that we are kind of remaking from a series done by Brooke Hemingway and Christy Jex a few years ago, kind of just updating them a little bit as things have changed in the business with comp plan changes and things like that. So we're redoing them. So we're going to talk about follow-up and retention. And so this is a quote from that first video. It says, if you don't have retention, you don't have residual income. If you don't have retention, you don't have people falling in love with products and having their life changed. And so I want to just really set it like this is important, and keeping your people so that they are on the products month after month after month. Like this, it's important for your business and your residual income, but it's also important for them. And think about yourself and how long did it take for you to notice product or changes, right? What if you would have quit the month before you finally felt better? Like, what if you would have quit? And so this is why it's important to follow up with our new customers. And Bob Heilig talks a lot about we you sign someone, like your work now just begins. And that's very true here as well. That we're in the business of carrying people through their journey with this, not a transactional, never talk to you afterwards again. Okay, so we're going to talk about follow-up. How you feel about follow-up is going to determine how you act in your follow-up, how you teach others to follow up, or whether or not you even will follow up. So let's dive in a little bit. I want you guys to unmute yourself and tell me how you feel about following up with your customers in your customer care after you've signed them. Just kind of tell me, somebody, or you can use the chat. I'll open up my chat if I need to. How would you describe, how do you feel about follow-up?
I love it until they have issues.
Mm.
And I need to try and find a solution, and then I get nervous.
Okay, that's good. Nervous, maybe not confident in your ability to help them through those issues.
Yes, or not knowing exactly which products will help them with what their needs are.
Okay, I don't know if you can see my chat box when I opened it, but oh, you couldn't? Okay. Okay, anyone else want to share?
I'm just struggling with, I mean, I've been following up with the person that signed the beginning of July with the reset plus triplex, and I followed up. I've done the follow up with her, and she's yet to start the product, and now she really isn't responding to me.
Oh,
So I kind of feel like I'm in this, I know we're not bugging her, but I don't know what to do now because she's kind of stopped talking back.
No, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that tonight, on how to set people up for success, and also how to prevent ghosting and what to say if someone is ghosting you. We're going to talk about that. I know for me in the beginning, I was kind of afraid of follow-up. I was nervous that they were going to have lots of detox. And so it was kind of like I'm going to sign you and I'm just going to hope and pray that you love your products and I'm never going to talk to you again. And so just kind of trying to figure out how to, like, that my mindset was, I was putting my, I was telling myself a story that they were already having detox problems and they weren't really loving their product, or I'm assuming that they didn't like them. All of these things, what Bob Heilig would call a red light story, right? And that coming from that place, it prevented me from even doing follow-up. I would sign people and not talk to them for a long time. And when their subscription would go off, I would send them a message and be like, or sometimes I wouldn't even send them a message. Like sometimes I'd be too afraid to even send them a message and ask them why their subscription was turned off. And also I was just a lot of fear coming from, oh, what if they don't? What if they don't? I'm assuming that they don't, things like that. So anyone else feel that way? I turned off the chat. Anyone else? Brianna loves follow-up. Go ahead.
Sorry. I went through a season, like when I first got started, where I was terrified of customer care because I had a bunch of, I added a bunch of people, and then therefore you got like the harvest of people, and then also the people who didn't last, because that's normal. But when you have a bunch at one time, you also lose a bunch at one time, and that's just like naturally how it works. And I know that now, but at the time it was really devastating. And I was scared of customer care for like a long time after that, because I was like, no one's going to like them. Like everyone's going to tell me negative things, because I just went through this season where I was hearing that a lot. But I will say now that I have like an actual customer care system to where like I don't have to think about it. Like you can take the emotion out of it, and like not like you're just sending them the next message because it's the next message and you don't care about the response, but it makes it easier when you know what you're getting ready to say and can then personalize it to them as needed and whatnot. But it like kind of takes that fear out of it, because you like just do the same thing with everybody with, like I said, the tailoring and the personalization. And that took a lot of the fear out of it, because it was like, no, I can look at this as doing a text, like checking off a box, but also doing it well. You got to be able to do both. But having a system definitely like pulled me out of it.
Yeah, I love that. And we're going to talk a little bit about this system here. I think whenever we are in that mode of, I'm nervous about follow-up, I'm afraid to send this, we are making it about us, right? And we are focusing on us and how we are and how we are being perceived. I don't want to bug them, right? I think I heard you say that, Gina, like we are making that about us. And so in this video, Christy Jack says, follow-up is not about you. It is about them. And you are taking a stand for the 90-day version of that person. And when I first listened to this video 3 years ago, that was a huge concept to me that I had never thought about. They have trusted me to walk them through this. And I am taking that stand for that 90-day version of them, because they've shared with me their goals. They've shared with me what they want out of Plexus. And so it is my job to help walk them through that, walk them to the line where they want to be and then beyond. And so when you start thinking about them and where they are, then it makes it less scary. It makes it less scary to follow up, because you can think about them, and that is what motivates you forward. Okay, so after we've like talked about like, okay, if we are having a poor mindset about this, it's going to really feed into our follow-up, how we teach our follow-up, how we do it, all of those things. And so once we have that right mindset of focusing on them and wanting to stand up for them, this is how we do that. So we set them up for success, right? I know oftentimes we will try to maybe get an ad at the very end of the month. And so maybe we skip corners, right? Maybe people aren't really ready to join when they actually join, because we kind of forced it a little bit and they didn't commit to 90 days. And maybe those are things that we do sometimes because we're trying to hit a rank, or we're trying to earn a bracelet or something like that, that we have to check ourselves too. And there's nothing wrong with offering incentives. There's nothing wrong with working for those, but if we are doing things solely based on that, we will have not as great retention, because people will join before they're ready. And so when I'm talking to someone, I have them commit to 90 days. Do they always stay for 90 days? No, but I at least talk to them about it. I tell them, like, I encourage everyone to do this 90 days. And if I have someone that says, I want to try it for a month, I usually say, okay, well, I'd really like for you to wait until you can commit to 90 days. And then, so take the money that you were going to do this month and save it for next month, and until you can have enough to commit to 90 days, because that is going to be, you're going to have the most, the biggest success and the most when you're consistent for 90 days. And then you want to tell them that you need 3 things from them. And I sign people over the phone, and as you're signing them up, tell them these things, that they need to be consistent. They need to be consistent with their products. If they are not consistent, they will not see results as quickly as we would like them to, and as quickly as they want to also. Also, they need to have patience. Our bodies did not get the way they are overnight, and these products are not miracle workers. They're not going to change your life in 3 days. So they need to have patience, and I'm going to talk to them about that. Like, this is not a quick fix. This is a slow, this works to balance out your body, and you need to have patience in this. And then I'm going to say, everybody responds differently to these products. Some people experience die-off, some people don't. And some people, we start on this because we think that this is the right combo pack for you, but maybe we may need to change things up if your body is responding in a way that is not helping, right? And so just tell them up front. And so that way, if that happens, they're not like, wait a second, you said these products would work for me. They're not working for me. And so you are telling them in the beginning, like, we may need to tweak your regimen. Everybody's different. Some people take 2 BioCleanse. Some people take 6 BioCleanse every day. And it just depends on who you are and how your body functions. And so just let them know that it's going to be different for everybody. Also, I'm not looking at the chat. So if you need me to read the chat, just like wave and unmute yourself. Okay. Okay. So when you're following up, you want to follow up with these qualities. Okay. Enthusiasm, positivity, compassion, encouragement, a proactive approach, and a hopeful attitude. So we're going to get into like specific messages in a little bit, but I want you to think about having this air of all of these things whenever you're sending a message. And some of you, this might be hard for you. So there might be a few of you who are like, man, I'm just kind of a negative person. I'm just like more glass half empty person, right? And so I would just really encourage you to work on a lot of professional development too within yourself and your outlook and your mindset. And you can be enthusiastic and encouraging and positive without being bubbly and energetic or anything. If that's not your natural tendency to be that way, you can still be positive and encouraging and enthusiastic in your own way, being true to who you are. But all of these things are going to really help build their energy level too. So your energy level will raise their energy level. And so if you come on and you send them a message and you're just like, hey, how's it going? Or, hey, have you tried the pink drink yet? Hey, like just with a very like not excited, like there's a difference between, and I've got this on the next slide. There's a difference between, hey, how's it going? Or, hey, Molly, I wanted to follow up with you and see how things were going. You've been on products for 3 days now, and I can't wait to see the changes that you've noticed. See, there's that hopeful attitude. Have you been able to get into a rhythm with the pink drink yet? I'm asking a specific question. I'm being positive. I'm pouring belief and hope in as I'm saying, like, I can't wait to see the changes, right? I can't wait to see the changes. When you are asking open-ended, vague questions, it opens the door for negativity. And sometimes you'll send a message that says, hey, how's it going? And they don't even think you're talking about plexus. And they just tell you all kinds of things about their life, which you want to know things that are going on in their life. But if you are asking specifically about plexus, it'll be hard to like re-ask it again if they've like gone into this whole like story about their cousin's brother, like dog or something like that. And so you want to be specific. You want to have specific questions. You want to have that hopeful attitude, enthusiastic when you are sending those messages. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to talk about how to avoid being ghosted. And then we're going to talk about the next slide says if you are being ghosted. So
Cara, can you go back to that last slide real quick so I can take a picture, please? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I'm taking a lot of screenshots of these and putting them in Goal Diggers because they're all really good. So you guys can get them from Goal Diggers too.
Okay. And I have all the slides too, so I can send them out afterwards. Okay. How to avoid being ghosted. Number 1, tell them when you sign them on the phone that you are going to be reaching out to them a lot over the next few months, and tell them why. Tell them that you want to have whenever they're buying this product from you and not off the shelf in Target, so that you can be their coach, so that you can encourage them, so that you can work through things with them. And tell them that every person, every body is different. And so there will be different regimens that you need. And so just if you tell them that up front, like, I'm going to be checking in with you every Tuesday to check in, just so you know that, then they don't feel like you're bugging them because you already told them that you were going to be sending them a message. And also you don't feel like you're bugging them because you've already told them that you're going to be sending them a message. And so tell them that. And then secondly, ask them for a preferred method of communication. Not everyone is as savvy with Messenger as we are. Not everyone likes to use Messenger. And so text them or email them. I have one customer that I email, and that's the way that she wants me to connect with her. And she responds via email, but she will not respond to a text or a Facebook message, but she will respond to an email. And so just finding a way to connect and asking them which way that is. And it puts the ball on their court too, of you're meeting them where they're at. So ask them for a preferred method of communication. If they are ghosting you, know that you will have people ghost you. Even if you tell them up front all of these things, you will still have people that don't respond. I think that this is a really great way that you can address that and say, hey, Liz, remember we talked about your preferred mode of communication. I really want to connect with you so I can help support you and your goals of sleeping better and having more energy. Do you have time to chat on the phone today? It's direct, and you're reminding them that you were going to check in. You're reminding them of their goals so that they will want to do this with you. I think the important thing to think about when you're doing your customer care, it is not a checkbox that you say like, oh, I sent them a message. It's on them now. I'm not sent them a message, check. I hope they don't respond because I really don't want to have this conversation, but I sent them the message because that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, no, be determined to connect with them. Okay. It's not, the goal is not to send a message, check it off the list. The goal is to connect so that you can help them love their products, so that you can help them feel better. Okay. So another tip is if you have been trying Messenger, text them. We get their phone number you can get their phone number from the back office if you don't have it, and send them a text. A lot of people are more likely to respond to a text message than they are a Facebook Messenger message. So try that if you have someone that's ghosting you, and let us know if they respond. Other tips that you can do, engage with their social media, like send them a relational message and just try to connect with them outside of Plexus too. Be real, be genuine. Don't like say something like if they have a dress on and if you don't like their dress, don't say like, oh, love your dress. Like, don't do that. Be real, be authentic, but connect with them in a way. That's happened to me before. Even I had sent a message asking a girl if she would like a sample, and she never responded to me. And I just happened to see her stories today, and she was sharing pictures of her kid. And so I just responded to her story, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's really cute. Happy birthday to her son. And she responded back and said, thank you so much. Oh, and in regards to Plexus, so she like responded to me just because I was connecting with her outside of that too. Now that was a potential that's different, but still that same principle applies. Okay, we've talked mindset around follow-up. We've talked about kind of different approaches. So now what? We're going to talk about like our system, our follow-up system. We have a lot of great systems that are pinned in Rising Jewels. I know that Michaela has one that she's using. We have Brittany Howard and Christina Williams, and their system is pinned in Rising Jewels. This is kind of a merge. This is kind of a skeleton of one that you can use. And I will tell you, in this system, we are not robots. We do not send, if you were talking to them the day before and your week 2 message says to send this, this, and this, but you've already talked about one of those things, like you're a real person. So send real messages to people and going through there. We're going to talk about a 5 touch point over 1 month system. I'm going to go more into these, so I'm not going to like read all of these right now, but essentially we're going to have 5 touch points. And here is the first one. Okay, so 1 to 2 days after joining, this is before they even get their products. This is something that you could say, hey, Brenda, I'm so excited for you to get your products in. They should be getting there so soon. I wanted to send over a little video of a friend who reminded me of you when I saw it. I hope it inspires you. It gets me excited about your results too. Here is the getting started guide for your combo pack will you text me when your products arrive? So this is something that you can do to build belief even before their products even get here. And you can send a video of a testimony. You could send a testimony. You could send a video about a product that they have, like how to use the product or something like that. Just some bit of connection before their products get there. You want to continue on excitement because they're excited when they first get there, when they first click join, right? Everybody's excited. They're excited about what it's going to do for them. And so this just like pours into that excitement as they're waiting on their products. Okay, touch point 2. This would be 3 to 5 days after they join, maybe right along when their products get there. And so you may say something like, hey, Brenda, do you have your products yet? Do you have any questions about getting started? We will start you off slow and build up your regimen. My biggest keys for success are consistency, drinking lots of water, and communicating with me so I can help adjust your regimen. And then if you forgot to sign them over the phone, or you forgot to ask them which way they want to connect with you, this is a perfect time to do that. Like, remember, I'm going to be sending you a message every week. What is the best way that you'd like for me to communicate with you? Messenger, text, Marco Polo, what works for you? I'm here for you. I'm here to help with that. Okay, this is after 1 week on the products, this touch point 3. Hey, Brenda, happy 1 week. Tell me what you're loving about the product so far. Isn't the pink drink tasty? Have you found it easy to establish a routine for it? Now, some people notice differences in 1 week and some people don't. And so I don't ever like to assume, like, are you sleeping better? And if they, or do you have so much energy? Because if they don't, then I don't want them to feel like it's not working for them. And so I do like to say, what are you loving about it? And it could be as simple as like, I really am enjoying just a treat in the afternoon. I think it tastes yummy. And like, that's something to celebrate too. Like, so I really like to ask about routine with 1 week in. If they've already had a hard time being consistent with a routine 1 weekend, you know that consistency is probably going to be a problem in the weeks to come too. So that's something that you can like drip in that. Remember, consistency is going to get you your best results. What you can maybe talk through ways to be more consistent with alarms or things like that as you continue that conversation. But I like to ask about consistency 1 weekend. Okay, 2 weeks on the products. Hey, Brenda, happy Friday. Hope you're having a great day so far. Do you have any plans this weekend? I wanted to touch base with you and see how you're doing on your products. It's been 2 weeks. That's when I started noticing energy. I cannot wait to hear what things you're noticing. I like to ask about a few categories. Will you tell me more about your sleep, digestion, mood, cravings, and energy? And so a lot of times, 2 weeks on the products, they may be having a lot of bowel issues, right? But people don't normally come up and tell you that. I'll tell you, if they started for digestive issues, they will probably tell you those things. But if they started for more energy and now they're running to the bathroom all the time, and they're not going to tell you that. They may not tell you that. And so I like to give those categories so that they can think specifically like, okay, how have I been sleeping the last couple of nights? Okay, what is my digestion? Giving them categories helps them kind of track how are they feeling, because if you just say, how are you feeling? They may not know. They may not know exactly what to even look for when they're feeling those things. So I like to ask about those categories. Okay, this is touch point number 5, and this would be 3 weeks on the products, which is about almost a month from their sub. So their sub is probably coming out in the next few days, because that first week, it's technically been 4 weeks since they've ordered, 3 weeks on the products. And so this one says, hey, Brenda, we're on week 3, and I hope you've been able to find a routine so you can be consistent. You may be experiencing a little detox. It's not uncommon to feel more tired, increasing cravings, or bloating. Have you experienced any of that? Some people do, some don't. I want to remind you that it's actually a really good thing. It means that your body is beginning to balance out, and that's what we want. How has the past week been for you? We also need to look at your upcoming subscription and make sure it's exactly what you want. Do you want to switch up any flavors? Now, this is something that I have been doing for the past year and a half. With all of my level ones, I send reminder messages about their subscription. And it is one thing that I really enjoy. And even today, I sent out a message reminding her of her sub, and she said, "I'm just so glad you send these reminder messages." Like she said, it just makes me like, it reminds me, like, number one, am I being consistent, right? It's like another checkpoint for her, and she's been on the product since January, so 8 months now, and she's still like loving that I send those reminder messages so that she can look at her stash that day, see what she needs, what she doesn't need, those kinds of things. After this week, if they are in a good routine, you can check in 1 month later. If you're still working through troubleshooting their regimen and they're like, oh yeah, I have a ton of detox, and you're needing to talk through that, I continue to follow up weekly until they're in a good rhythm with what they're doing. If they send you a message, something like this, I'm liking the pink drink, but I do think I'm experiencing some detox. This is probably TMI, but I've had bad diarrhea today and yesterday. Is that normal? I may say something like this. I'm glad to hear you like the pink drink. Thanks for telling me. Nothing is TMI here, my friend. I want to help. It's not uncommon to have more frequent stools when you get started. Will you walk me through specifically what you're taking, at what time, and how much? We can make some adjustments. Also, how much water are you drinking? So if someone comes to you and they say, I'm feeling this and this and this, you have got to know what they're taking, when they're taking it, and how many they are taking before you help them. Because they may have started with BioCleanse they may have started for BioCleanse because that's what the bottle says, and so they may have done that, and you're like, okay, yeah, let's back that off. But even sometimes simply just moving your BioCleanse to midday will help in breaking that up. This is not a troubleshooting call. I am not the person that you want to be coaching you through all of your troubleshooting things. But I always ask these questions. And usually once I get a good picture of what they're taking, when they're taking it, how many they're taking, those are the questions that I'm going to ask if you come to the thread and you say, hey, they're experiencing this. What do I do? I'm going to ask you, how much water are they drinking? What are they taking? When are they taking it? And how many are they taking? So if you go ahead and do that, then you can come to your thread and say, this is what I need help with. Will you help me? This is the things that they're experiencing, and this is what they're taking, when they're taking, how many they're taking, and how much water they're drinking. And so that's just going to give you a better picture of when you're helping troubleshoot. Okay, staying organized, everybody's favorite topic, right? And so if you're thinking you have to do 5 touch points and you're like, oh man, how am I going to remember to do that? You need to be organized in some way. You need to find what works for you. I know that Dough app was really popular a couple of years ago. I don't know if anyone is still using Dough app. You can put in the chat if you are. I won't be able to see it because I'm not looking at the chat, but other people will be able to see it. But does anybody want me to explain what that is? Okay, no, people, no, we're good. If you are curious to know what Dough app is, you can look it up online, doughApp.com, and you can explain it. But okay, desk calendar, weekly planner, Google Calendar, reminders, whatever you can do to help you stay organized. I have found a system that works for me, and I use the weekly planner. I have it right here. I'll show you like a little bit, but I'm not like going to go into it. We have other videos that talk about that, but this is like what one of my spread looks like. And I will write their name on the day. Now, some people I know will do like all of their customer care messages on Fridays. and they kind of like put them all there. I do a little bit every day. And so if I sign, like I signed my friend Emily last week, I'm going to put her name. I'm going to count 3 days, Emily touch point 1. And then I'm going to do another 3 days, Emily touch point 2. And then the week after that, Emily touch point 3. And then the week after that, Emily touch point 4. So that whenever I sit down to do my work, I could just look at that day and I already have her name on there. I have what touch point it is. And I am going to send her that message, or I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to reconnect with her and check in and see how things were going. Excuse me. I also do this at the very end of every month. I go through my entire level 1 subscriptions and write them out on days throughout the whole month. That doesn't, I think that makes sense. But so that I can send level 1 subscription messages out at that time also. It doesn't really matter what you do, but it does matter that you do it. And as far as staying organized, because if you're not organized with it, you won't follow up because you won't remember, or you'll follow up sporadically. And then you may miss a touch point. And then they may be having horrible detox and their belief is down. And then it's hard to pull them back out of that, right? It's hard to pull from when their belief is shot. It's hard to do that. So find a way to stay organized. And I will tell you, for me, I tried the Doe app. I tried the desk calendar. The only reason the weekly calendar started working for me, the weekly planner, was because I finally had set business hours where I would sit down every single day and work. And I know that we talk about you can work this business in the nooks and crannies, and you absolutely can. But if you're doing it in the nooks and crannies of your day, and you don't ever sit down to open up your calendar or sit down to actually do work, it may be, when I was doing the desk calendar thing, it would be 3 days before I sat at my desk and I'd realize that I had missed all of Monday's touch points and all of Tuesday's touch points because I wasn't sitting down to work. I was just kind of working here and there from my phone. And so I would just really encourage you to have at least 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day to sit down for your customer care and making sure that is organized, because that is going to be key for you. But what if I'm not organized, right? I know lots of you will say that, like, I'm just not that person, Cara. I'm just not that person. Find something that works for you. And also this is a quote from Brooke Hemingway's video, but it says, what you say is what you allow yourself to believe. Okay. So you can be disorganized in all other aspects of your life, but in your customer care, you need to be organized in that. It doesn't matter if it's a sticky note system on your door or something like that. As long as you have found something that works for you, that you can remember to send those messages every week, because those messages are going to keep your business going, and they are going to help you retain your people, and they are going to help people love their products. And so it's important. And so you need to find what works for you, and you need to tell yourself that you can be organized in this, because what you say is what you allow yourself to believe. Okay, just wrapping up here, some key points. Following up is about them. It is not about us. It is not about us. Find a system that works for you. Be excited about follow up. Your excitement is going to raise their excitement, and it's going to just really get them excited and happy about the products. And then whenever you're excited, you're looking for more wins, right? If you think the products aren't going to work for you, they're probably not going to work for you. But if you're excited about what changes you're going to notice every little thing. Like, you're going to wake up and think, oh, I just slept so good that night. That must be the plexus. Like, when you are thinking about it and when you're excited, you're going to have more wins. So that excitement from us needs to go into them. And then don't beat yourself. This is a big one. Don't beat yourself up about your follow-up in the past. If you've been doing this for 30 days, you've been doing this for 3 years, like you can make the shift today. Don't beat yourself up about what you've done in the past. When I first started, I was not great. Like I said, I was scared. I would sign them up, close my eyes, and just pray that they love their products, right? And so, and then I just decided to change and make the shift. And there have been people that have come back that quit in the beginning, and they have come back. And now I'm able to provide really good customer care because it's something that I've grown in, that I've worked at. And yeah, so don't beat yourself up. You can do this and make the shift today. Anybody have any other questions? I'll stop sharing my screen, and I guess I can look at the chat, but if no one has any questions, we can be done. I was trying really hard to do 30 minutes and I made it to 40. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Thank you for taking the time to really put so much intention and care into that PowerPoint by sharing all those messages. Those were really, really good. Thank you, Cara.
You are welcome. Thank you guys for being on and listening. I appreciate it.
Hey, I have a question, Cara.
Yes.
Okay, so what if they don't tell you when they get their products in? So like what touch point would you like move to?
Yeah. So I think I would still do that touch point too. It's like, hey, because I kind of know when they get their products. I mean, I think you can even like look at the tracking too in your back office so that you can see. And so if I have someone in that range, if I'm like, okay, if you haven't, like, have you gotten your products yet? And they say no, or if they say yes, I'm like, okay, have you tried any of the products yet? And I think that I would kind of ask them if they've started them. But yeah, I like that. Haley, have you checked? I message them and say, have you checked the mail? Because I know they have. And so
and another thing too, like if they don't respond to you when you've asked them if they've gotten their products, then you can always follow up like a little bit later, a day or two later. Hey, I just want to make sure you didn't have any shipping issues coming to your house. Have you gotten your products yet? I want to make sure that you're taken care of. So that again, it like shows them that you are for them. And if they didn't get it, if for some reason it's showing in the back office that it was shipped and delivered, but they actually haven't gotten it, then we can go to bat for them. But just kind of like making sure that they know like you are excited for them, even if they haven't responded yet.
I was gonna say that applies too to the other people you've had for months or years, because I just had someone who totally forgot to tell me she moved across the street and had renters in her previous house, and then they returned shipping back to corporate. So had I not asked of like, hey, did you get your reset? Because I was supposed to do it with her. And she's like, oh, I think it went to the other one. I'm like, oh no. And so I checked the history and got it set up so they reshipped it. So had I not asked, I wouldn't have known that she didn't get it.
Yeah. And I think adding in that very first touch point after they've joined before they get their products is really going to it's going to help them respond to you when they do get their products, because even then, sometimes at day 2, they may check the tracking and say, oh yeah, it's supposed to be here tomorrow. And then you can go ahead and like that touch point 1 kind of bleeds into that touch point 2, because if you're talking about that. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. And I hope that you feel inspired to go reach out to your customers and get them wins on these products, because your business will grow when you retain your people. So All right. Thank you guys.